All right, we will go ahead and get started. My name is Julia Lawless. Welcome to our Academic Preferences Questionnaire and Advising session. I oversee all of our undergraduate admissions. I'm sure I've met some of you. I would like to introduce my colleague, Jessica White. She's the director of our new student experience. She works with admissions very closely throughout your whole process to better processes, hear about what you may or may not need. And she is going to talk through our advising and academic preferences.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. So, as Julia said, my name is Jess, and my purpose on campus is really to help you with all of your onboarding and next steps. So, let's talk APQ and advising. At JU, there are three main steps to really help you get registered for your classes, and I'm going to kind of give a brief snapshot of what that looks like. So, step one is you are going to complete the academic preference questionnaire. Step two is your schedule is going to be created for you by your academic advisor and faculty. And step three is you are going to meet with your advisor to walk through your schedule for your first semester. So let's talk about that in a little bit more detail. What is the academic preference questionnaire? So this is a form where you are able to really decide, at JU, you get to decide your paths. You're encouraged to explore a variety of different majors, minors, and really help blend your passion with your career and kind of your future plans. So this form allows you to fill out what options you really want to pursue within your first semester. So I'm going to share with you what this looks like. And once you pay your deposit to attend JU, you are then going to be able to fill out this form. So this is what this looks like. And right at the top, it's going to say start planning your future. This is an opportunity for you to really share with your advisor early on any information that you want them to know that we maybe aren't able to see on your general application. Did you take any AP credits? Did you take IB courses? Are you doing any dual enrollment? Has your major changed when you first applied to JU? We know sometimes that happens. This is an opportunity for you to update that and let us know. As you scroll down on this form and you get ready to submit this is where you have an opportunity to select some of your core preferences. So obviously we want to blend the fun classes with the major required classes, kind of finding that perfect mix between your passions and your path. And so this is where you're able to select really what your first, second, and third choice is. Now, your advisor is going to utilize this to put together a schedule for you. They're not always able to match it exactly, but they really do try. And so this is an opportunity for you to select, okay, what area am I most interested in throughout this first semester? This is also an opportunity where you are able to select, are you interested in double majoring? Is there something you're interested in minoring in? Are you interested in study abroad, service learning, student internships? Sharing all this information via this form is going to allow your advisor to help build the best schedule for you on campus. You're also able to select if you want to do an accelerated degree, if you're interested in our grad-to-grad program. Also on here, there's some information about our math placement exam. So there are some particular majors where you will see this. You'll be emailed that information if you have to take a math placement exam. Down here, you're going to agree and say, yes, everything I included on this form is truthful. And then you're going to click submit, and this will get sent over to your advisor. Once you have submitted that APQ, your advisor is hard at work behind the scenes making a schedule for your specific needs. So if you've got an older sibling, if you've got friends applying to other schools and everyone's panicking about class registration, the good news is at JU, you do not have to do that. We are not going to add that layer of stress for you. We want to make sure that your first semester class schedule is created for you based off of your prior coursework, your interests, and the information on that form that you just submitted to us. After your schedule has been created, you're going to receive an email from your advisor to say, hey, Jess, it's time to make an appointment with your advisor. That email is going to go to the email address which you first applied to JU with. So make sure you are checking that one. You'll be able to go in there and set up an advising appointment. You're going to log into Starfish, which is a JU. That's where you see your advising. That's where you see your class schedule. That's a JU system. And you will make an appointment with that advisor. This is where you'll not only be able to talk through that first appointment or that first semester class schedule that they've built for you, but this is also where you can talk through the progression plan of your major. What does your next 4 years look like in the classes you're taking? Do any changes need to be made? Maybe something's changed since you filled out that form or since you first applied to JU. Or if you want more information on adding a double major or a minor, this is where you can express those interests and talk through that in a little bit more detail as well. If you're also in any niche programs, you'll be able to talk through that as well. So ROTC, honors, scholars, your advisor will be able to help talk through that a little bit with you as well. And again, you're going to want to keep an eye on your JU email as well as the email address you applied for. So once you schedule that advising appointment in Starfish, any appointment updates and reminders, those are going to go to your JU email. So this is a really good time for you to start checking that JU email address. And you have that login information in your deposited student portal. It's also been emailed to you. So make sure if you're not sure where to find that information and you're a deposited student, you reach out to your admissions counselor and they'll help you find that info. So again, a little bit more information on your advising appointments. This can happen in person. This can happen over the phone or via Zoom or Teams. So you do not have to come all the way to Florida for this appointment. And these appointments are really going to start to take place throughout the summer. So you do want to make sure you're keeping an eye on your email address and you're going to log in with that JU email and password as I just mentioned. Once your schedule is made and once you have met with your advisor, you are going to start working through your next steps. Some of these have already opened and you may have taken action on already. It's been a big week for our deposited students. Some of them you might not have started on, and that's okay. So I'm going to run through those pretty quickly. Registering for housing, or you'll submit a housing exemption form that opened this week for our deposited students. Again, we don't need to feel pressured and rush on that. These are just the next steps that you'll be working through over the next few months. So registering for housing, we hope you'll register to join us for Summer Splash, which is our purely fun social opportunity to come and spend the night on campus this summer. That is happening June 28th and July 8th. And so we take you to the beach, show you a good time. You get to meet other students on campus without the pressure of classes beginning. And registration for that opened last week. So again, check that email. We would have just sent you an email to register for that one. This summer, you're also going to work on finalizing your payment arrangements. So you want to make sure you're working on getting that FAFSA submitted. Once you're registered for classes, you'll start to receive those billing comms, and your admissions counselor will help make sure that you are prepped and ready to go with that. You're going to need to submit final transcripts. Final transcripts will need to be submitted from not only your high school, but if you've taken any dual enrollment courses, we will need a final transcript sent from your state college or community college where you took those courses in order to apply those credits. And then move-in is happening on August 13th, and Dolphin Dive-In, our orientation is happening August 14th through August 17th. So I just gave you a very brief snapshot of what your long summer is going to look like, squished into a couple of bullet points, but that's really what you have to look forward to. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Jess, I have one question for you. I think
Yeah.
you touched on this a little, but can you explain how the advisors are assigned to certain students?
Absolutely. So your advisor is assigned to you based off of your college. So depending on your major you've selected, your specific college will have a major or will have an advisor for you. If you are still deciding and you don't know what your major is yet, your Thrive coach is going to register you in your coursework. And if you don't know what your Thrive coach is, every incoming student at JU has a Thrive coach to help you just do that. To thrive. They're there to help ensure that you are successful throughout your first year. So in partnership with your admissions counselor, your financial aid counselor who are getting you here on campus, will then introduce you to that academic advisor and your Thrive coach.
Thank you. I have one more question.
Right.
Can you talk to us a little bit about the process if an individual gets their schedule and they're like, oh my gosh, I already took English 101. What do they do?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So my first piece of advice is don't panic. Don't jump into the system and start changing your schedule. We are going to register you based off of the information you share in your APQ. So that being said, if you share in there, okay, I received a 3 or higher on this AP course, and maybe you have no idea what you scored yet, and you're worried about that, or if you took dual enrollment English or you're planning on taking it this summer and we don't have the grade yet, you'll want to make sure you share it in that form. And based off of that, your advisor will not register you in that. Now, if something changes and you're placed in a class that maybe you're bringing in those credits and you're unsure, your advisor will be able to update that for you in that advising meeting. The reason I say once you see your schedule, because once you receive that email that your schedule's been made, you have access to see it in Starfish. But the reason we don't recommend jumping in to go make changes is because if you click something and you make a change and your class schedule that we put you in all of a sudden is gone, we can't bring that back. We then are starting over and we have to re-register you for classes, which will always have classes for our students. But at that point in time, it may be a little harder to put you in your first, second, and third choice. So that's why I recommend if you want changes made, if something looks funky, make that appointment with your advisor. Make sure you write notes down, you're prepared for that conversation, and they'll be able to work through you with that.
Awesome, thank you. And I know that you talked a little bit about the timeline, but can you just reiterate when students that have already completed the APQ, when should they expect for those advisors to be reaching out?
Absolutely. So class registration literally opened yesterday. Don't panic and reach out to them yet, but that means your advisors have started pulling your APQ to place you in classes. So you will receive an email from your advisor over the next 4 to 6 weeks, where then once you get that email, you can make that appointment and have that conversation with them. My recommendation is start checking your email over the next 10 days or so, and you'll receive something in the next 4 to 6 weeks. We anticipate every student who's deposited this week to receive that email before May 1st.
Are there any additional questions for the academic questionnaire form? I see some questions that are unrelated, some scholarships, some move-in information. You're welcome to send me an email. I will put that information in the chat so you can reach out to me and I'll have your admissions counselor either follow up or I will follow up directly. But are there any additional questions for Jess and the advising process?
I see one that says, where do I list the courses I've taken and passed through your local, dual enrollment? On your APQ form, it will say, did you take dual enrollment classes? And you can select that box. If you want to list out the specific, classes that you took, there's a box at the bottom of your APQ that says, is there any additional information you want us to know? Include it there. That way your advisor can go ahead and see that.
Awesome. Any additional questions? All right. Well, if you need anything, I will put my email in the chat. Again, my name is Julia Lawless. I'm the director of admission, and you're welcome to give me a call or an email anytime. We will go ahead and finish up this evening. If you have anything else, please let me know. I see one last question. If I already submitted the APQ but missed some of the information, should I simply email my advisor? If you have missed some of the information, I would recommend calling the Office of Admission. We can go in, we can adjust it because we're not certain that the academic advisors have been able to open our incoming classes form. So we are happy to adjust that for you. Advising meeting normally, Jess, how long is that typically?
I would say about 30 minutes.
Awesome. Any additional questions? These have been great questions. All right. Well, we hope that you all have a wonderful evening. Please let us know if you need anything additional, and you can always start with the Office of Admission for additional questions, and we look forward to seeing you all soon.